was so stressed out, and I was just looking past these red flags and all this stuff because I wanted it to work out. I thought it would work out. But I mean, obviously it didn't. So, let's see. During October, so it was like the first or second week of October, I was planning on moving out of my old house, and I wanted to get a new place in Kingston because if you don't know, I live like in Ontario, but I don't live in the city that I go to school in for university. I go to Queen's, which is in Kingston, but I do online classes right now, so I'm not in Kingston. Now, I had a place in Kingston for when I wanted to go up and see friends, if I did have to go up to Kingston for any reason, whatever. But that house that I was living with my old roommates, it was not a positive environment for me. I did not enjoy it. I didn't get along with my landlord. It just wasn't good for me. So I wanted to move out. So on top of dealing with all this stress with my new place, I was also dealing with a bunch of stuff with my old landlord, and my old roommates, a lot of drama and just a bunch of just really frustrating, stupid stuff. But I mean, it's out of my life now, so that's what matters, is that I'm out of that environment. So I was planning on moving into a new place because I still wanted a place in Kingston. I actually, even though I'm doing online classes, I did want to be in Kingston for a majority of the time right now because I miss my friends. I'm really lonely and none of my friends are here. They're all in Kingston for school. So I've just been struggling with that, and I've mentioned that to you guys before, that I've been feeling lonely, so I wanted to get a place. So my last place that I found on Kijiji, and most of my friends find their rentals on Kijiji, so I did the same. I found this rental, and it was like a little basement apartment, and I loved it. I was like, this is adorable. It's in my price range. It was like $1,200, and I was like, that's about, the average price. I mean, now looking at more and more apartments, the average price is more like 13, 14, but still, I was like, $1,200, that's a good deal. I mean, it was posted on Kijiji, like, I don't know, there was pictures of the place, it seemed good. So I messaged the landlord person, and they were like, yeah, tell me a bit about yourself, like, fill out this form about yourself, yada yada. So I did, and they were like, okay, like, I think you'd be a great fit, like, when do you want to move in, type of thing. And I was like, I actually want to move in as soon as possible, because I was just hoping that I could go and move my stuff out of my old place right to my new place, so I wouldn't have to get a storage unit or anything, right? And they were like, okay, like, that's possible. Now they said, they're like, I actually don't work in Kingston, I work in Alberta. And this first red flag, they're out of town. They're like, I work in Alberta. But for me, my dad lives in BC, but he works in Alberta. So I was like, okay, I mean, same type of deal. Didn't even faze me. I was like, okay, fine. He was also like, my wife and I are getting a divorce. But my son and his fiance used to live in the unit, but like they moved to Ottawa or whatever. So there's still like a couch down there and a mattress if you want it. And I was like, great, I will take the couch. I have my own bed and everything now. And he was like, okay, awesome. So yeah, what will happen is, like, the keys I've placed them in like a PO box at the post office, and so once you like sign a lease and are happy with everything, you can take the keys. And I was like, okay, great. So the main issue, and this is like the biggest red flag, and this is where you will think, Ocean, you are so dumb, but it was sight unseen, okay? But this is the thing, is that a lot of people are having to get these rentals sight unseen because of the panoramic, right? I don't want to say it, but the panoramic, and because they can't go up and view these places in person because of restrictions and stuff like that. And I mean, that makes complete sense, and that was a red flag though. But I mean, again, with the whole, everything that's going on, I was just like, okay, I can't see the place, but I've seen pictures, and I was like, how recent are these pictures, yada yada. And so he was like, these pictures are like the most recent. I took them like last month or whatever, but no one's been in the unit. And what you can do is you'll sign the lease agreement, and at the bottom I'll put a disclaimer that's like, if anything doesn't look the same as the pictures, whatever, like, you'll get all your money back type of thing. And I was like, that works perfect, because if I go to the unit, I'm like, oh, the dishwasher actually doesn't look, as nice as it did in the picture. I don't want the place. I get my money back. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I've signed a lease agreement, so if anything does go wrong, I'll just go to the tenants board and deal with that. I'll take him to court. So that was in my head. So meanwhile, I'm like reviewing the place. I'm like, okay, like, can I actually move in like this weekend? He's like, yeah, that works. I can have the keys ready for you by then. You'll just need to sign the lease agreement. You'll need to pay your rent, and it's usually first and last, which, I mean, that's normal. But he was like, if you pay first, second, and last, you can get like 30% off the second month. He was like, I'll do a little deal. And I was like, okay, fine, that's cool. And for my old place, my old landlord did something similar. Like, we got the first month free. So again, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, that's a nice little deal, just like old times. So I was like, okay, I'll pay first, last, and second. So would that be October, November, and then like May? And he said no, because I'm moving in like second week of October. So October wouldn't be the first month, because that would be prorated, which means like I wouldn't pay the full month of October. I would just pay the remainder, and then technically my first month would be like November. So I was like, okay, makes sense. So then I had to pay for end of like October, November, December, and then May, which that came out to like $3,800, $3,895, something like that. Okay, it was basically $4,000. But I mean, again, for me, I'm like, I'll sign the lease. Everything's fine if I've signed the lease, and I don't mind prepaying my rent because it's off my plate. Like at my old place, I used to pay my rent in September. I paid for September, October, November, December type of thing, right? So my old landlord had to give me my money back, but at the time, that's just how I do it. So I don't have to worry about paying rent every month. I just take the hit initially, and then I can save back up. So I mean, again, I didn't mind doing the down payment, because I was like, then I won't have to worry about for November, December, May, I won't have to worry about it. So I read over the lease, and the lease to me seemed pretty normal, okay? Like, I've signed a lease for my old house. My friends have signed leases. Like, there are different versions of leases, but I mean, I read through it, looked pretty standard to me. He signed it. He had the thing in the bottom where it's like, if it doesn't look like what the picture is, you'll get your money back, or you can take me to court type of thing. And I was like, sounds good to me. So my dad actually flew out from like BC, and he was like, I'll come and help you move your stuff, and I'll get to spend a bit of time with you. So my dad flew out, and we drove up to Kingston at 4 a.m. Okay, so we're packing up my stuff at my old house. And this day, guys, like, this day was absolute. It was one of the worst days of my life. I had like 4 mental breakdowns. My dad was trying to console me. It was just absolutely awful this entire day. But anyways, we drive up to Kingston. We get there at like 7 a.m. We drive past my new place, and we're like, oh, this house is so cute. We love the neighborhood. I can't wait to go inside type of thing. But first, we have to go to my old house. We pack up all my stuff out into the moving truck, clean the room and everything, and that's done. So now I'm waiting on the new landlord to he has to manage her assets because of the divorce and everything's getting split, and mine manages mine. Another red flag. But I'm with my dad at this point. My dad's like, this is sketchy. However, I've never been divorced, and the whole thing sounds like a pain in the butt. So, I don't know. It just sounds stressful entirely. Like, I think it's just how it is. I mean, I've never been through a divorce, but you each have your own lawyer. Makes sense. So, I take out the money, and I go to deposit it at his bank, and he's like, because we deal with different bankers, like he's with one institution, I'm with another, so I take out the money and do a check, and I go to deposit it into his bank account, and he's like, okay, don't do this account, do the other account, and I'm like, why is it a different name? And he's like, oh, again, it's because it's my representative. This time you were gonna deal with my wife's, but her account can't take direct deposits right now, and I can't get a hold of her, so just do it into mine. Again, really sketchy, but I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, he's like texting me, and he's like texting me all this stuff, and he sends me like a link, which when I clicked on it, it went to like his license, but I was like with my dad, and I was like, why would he even send me his license or whatever? So I just like swiped out of it, didn't even really look at it. Meanwhile, all this is happening. I'm dealing with texts from my old landlord, who is like, she is something else. She is something else. So I'm dealing with her. And like it's just like there's just so much drama, okay, with my old roommates, my old landlord. So I'm dealing with that. So I'm getting all these incoming texts from her, and all these incoming texts from my new landlord. Mental breakdown number 1, okay, at the bank. Mental breakdown. I gather myself. My dad's consoling me. We go into the bank. We make the deposit into the new account. So we go in, and then this is where the bank institution messed up, because they should have frozen the amount of money because it was such a large sum. It was like $4,000. B, they should have flagged the account because the name had spelling errors. Like the name that my new landlord gave me had like a couple spelling errors. Like for example, instead of like spelling it with 2 L's, it was 1 L. Do you know what I mean? It was just slight errors. And so when I went to a different bank, it's like a different bank branch, but same institution later, to talk to them about it and be like, hey, you need to flag these accounts for fraud. They were like, when you deposited this money, they should have flagged it because of the spelling errors, because of the large sum. Like they should have done that for you. So that's on the institution as well. And yeah, so they did flag the accounts for fraud, but they were like, there's nothing else we can really do. We can't get you your money. So meanwhile, back to the day. Sorry, it's kind of like back and forth, but there's just so much to tell. So I deposit the money. We do that. He's like, okay, I'll get you the keys. Whatever. So in this time, we go to Walmart. We're trying to buy stuff for my new apartment because I'm so excited. stopped texting me, emailing me at all. I have no contact with him. He won't reply. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I've been scammed. Now what do? I never messaged him saying like, you scammed me, like screw you. I just never said anything. I was just hello, what about my e-transfer? Hello, nothing. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to take some next steps. So I went to the banking institution, a different branch with the institution, and that's when they put the accounts, like they flagged them for fraud. And what they said to me was, this person probably is just taking over random accounts, and these people have no idea. Like, it's probably just old people who have no idea what's happening to their account and don't even know, and these people are taking over the accounts and just transferring and like doing whatever they want, type of thing, which is also why there's some spelling errors. So that's what they said. They're like, we can flag them, but we can't get your money back. Like, there's nothing else we could do. My bank was also like, it's not even the same institution you deposited it in. Like, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, okay, fine. Then I'm going back through our text and I'm trying to look at, the things, and I remember that license picture, so I go back to that link and I look at the license and I'm like, I just wish I took 3 minutes to properly look at this license, because once I actually looked at it and compared it to my license, it was so obviously fake. But in that moment, when I'm having my mental breakdown dealing with my old landlord, all these new texts, I was just like, why would he send me his license? Swipe. And like trying to text everyone else. I'm just so mad at myself, because I could have easily avoided that. I would have been like, wait, fake. I'm putting my money back into my account. I'm not depositing it. Bye. So that was really frustrating, and I was like, I could have avoided this whole thing, but whatever. And the link that he sent it on had like, it was an app, because it was like you can download the app or view in browser. So I just viewed in browser, but my dad was like, actually let me research this app. And it's an app that basically gives you like a second or third phone number. So this person, for all I know, could be using a Canadian phone number given from this app, but they could live in like Russia. Like, I have no idea where they could be from, like anywhere. So yeah, it's gonna be hard to track down. I mean, the name is probably fake since the license is fake. We have no phone number, like no real phone number, right? Because it's just a random generated number. All we have is that email, but I mean, again, it's probably fake, right? So then I was like, okay, I'm going to file a police report with the Kingston Police, which is what I did. So I gave them all the information, everything that happened, and I submitted my police report. Now, mind you, my dad had been sending me articles like after we were like, okay, I've definitely been scammed, like we missed some red flags, but yeah, this is a scam now. He sent me a few articles that were actually put out by the Kingston Police that we hadn't seen before, but this specific rental scam has been going on, and it's been targeting a lot of students that are like, I'm working out of town, the keys are at the post office, I'm getting a divorce, whatever, something like that. You can sign this lease agreement. If you don't like how it looks, you'll get all your money back. Don't you worry. You can take me to court, but it's completely fine. And you'll get your keys. It's a scam. The lease agreement that I signed doesn't exist. It holds no value because, I mean, it's a fake document, apparently. How would I know? I don't know. It looked like a real lease to me. So that means nothing. The place doesn't exist. The address that he gave me that I went to go look at with my dad is probably just some random address. Like the whole thing, working out of town, probably working out of a different country. I mean, who knows where they could be. Like, it's just, even the post office thing with the keys, like, that's also not a thing, apparently. I don't know. But that's what they've been saying to all these students. So I just wish that I had looked at that license properly, and then I had found this article sooner. But I mean, it was quite the learning lesson for me. And like, even as I'm telling this story, you can spot all the red flags. You can track them. changed about that. On top of that, I'm dealing with like all the drama with my old house, my old landlord, so I'm just trying to deal with that, and I'm trying to get into this new place, and it just didn't work out. It was just, there's so many red flags overlooked, missed, just because I had too much faith that it would work out. I was too trusting. Now, this was a very elaborate scam. Like, I'm not a dumb person, I would say, and I've definitely had like scam emails before, scam phone calls, but yeah, I feel like this one was pretty elaborate, because it wasn't even like after he got the money in the account, he stopped texting me. Like, he still texted me for like a week after, about my bank transfer, being like, no, we'll get it to you, don't worry, it's gonna happen tomorrow, I'm just waiting on my wife, work has been really busy, I promise I'll get it to you. Like, he was still texting me. So that's why it was also elaborate too, because Buddy was still putting in effort to make me trust him when he could have just left me high and dry for the money. I mean, he did, but he did put in that extra effort too. And I mean, making the fake license and everything, like, that was extra as well. Like, it was just a lot of stuff. So that's like the scam story. So if you are looking for a place in Kingston, if you are looking for a rental place anywhere, now you know the red flags to look for. I hope this like helped some of you, but actually there's still more to the story, because I'm posting this Friday, so Wednesday night I get a call at 9 p.m. Okay, mind you, I live in Canada, it's dark by like 4. Okay, so 9 p.m. to me feels like midnight. So I get a call at 9 p.m. No caller ID. I pick up the phone. Hello. Nothing. I'm like, okay, that's questions. We can just like have a regular chat. You can ask for advice. You can ask for tips on ASMR, like stuff like that. We can just have a nice little convo. And just a quick disclaimer, just like pretty obvious though, if anyone is like inappropriate on the calls or anything, I obviously will end them. But I don't think my little seashells would do that. But yeah, just to be safe, I would end the call. But I don't think that would happen. And really, I'm just so excited to meet you guys. I'm so excited that it's gonna be for such a good cause, and all the money is gonna go to charity. And I'm excited to like meet a few of you one-on-one. If these go well, then I would definitely do more of them in the future, because there's only going to be like 10 slots roughly for these one-on-one calls, so it's pretty limited. So yeah, I'm hoping to raise like $750 for charity, which would be just amazing. But if it goes well, then I would do the one-on-one calls in the future, and yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm really excited to meet all you guys tomorrow, so be sure to sign up for the link and book a time slot if you want to meet me one-on-one. It's gonna be so exciting, and I'll get to finish my little story for you all. But yeah, I think it's just so amazing. I'm so happy a Vibe is doing this with me. I think it's just so great. Like, I'm just so happy that I'm gonna get to meet you guys, and we're gonna raise some money for charity. It's just gonna be perfect. So yeah, now I hope this video taught you something about scams and about renting places. Hopefully it helped some of you. But yeah, it was a crappy experience. But next year, because I'm obviously not getting a place this year now, it was a lot of money to lose, and I'm just not gonna go through the stress. So next September, hopefully I will have a new and real